Hey, it goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now here we go. So Jim Ryan is talking about being frustrated because the art his dev teams produce is gated behind the console. Let's talk about it. Hey, how's everybody doing? So I hope y'all are finding ways to keep it gaming. I hope y'all are getting creative with your time and you are finding ways to keep it gaming. I know how life takes over. I know that pressures of life starts to compete for our gaming times, but I hope that you are finding ways to enjoy greatness. I hope that you are getting very creative with your time and you are finding ways to keep it gaming. Hey, if you end up liking what you see, maybe subscribe, maybe hit the like button, maybe tell some friends, maybe tell people that you know that would enjoy the same content. Let them know that we got that good stuff for you. All right, so let me tell you what happened this week. So Jim Ryan made a comment that he is frustrated that the games from PlayStation Studios is gated behind the console, and as soon as it hit the internet that this is what he said, everybody is running with this narrative that both Jim Ryan and Sony wants PlayStation first party games day and date on PC. And let me say that again, because it's important that you understand the false narrative that we are about to dismantle. They think that Jim Ryan and Sony are foretelling, they are predicting, they are foreshadowing that it is a foregone conclusion that PlayStation games are coming to PC day and date. This is the way they see it and they running with it. Now, there are two camps of gamers that are out there clamoring for this to happen. The problem is when you want something so bad, you just start to imagine things that aren't there. You start to see things that aren't there. You've heard the old saying, people see what they want to see. So instead of looking goofy and running around adding to the collection of false narratives, what we're going to do on this channel, we're going to examine the facts, we're going to examine the data, and we're going to come away with the actual truth when it comes to PlayStation games going day and date to PC. And if you can't guess already, let me tell you, it's not happening. But rather than me just tell you that it's not happening, I'm going to prove it to you starting right now.
The audience for the wonderful art, the wonderful entertainment these studios are making, to gate the audience for that at 20 or 30 million frustrates me. And I'd love to see a world where hundreds of millions of people can enjoy those games.
Okay, so that is the hotline that's got everybody just running around with all of these false narratives, trying to convince everyone that Jim Ryan is saying that PlayStation games are coming to PC day and date. All right, so now let's start getting into the truth of this, and let's just start getting this broken down the way it should have been broken down from the beginning. So yes, he did say very clearly that he can imagine a world where hundreds of millions of people have access to these games. He also mentioned that he is frustrated that the art that they produce is gated at 20 or 30 million users. Of course, people look at that word gate. To them, the first thing that pops into their minds are the content is gated by the console, and we could get more users if we remove the console and let more access to more people by get rid of the PlayStation itself. Now, that's utter foolishness, And now let's go ahead and start breaking this stuff on down. Now I have right here that I'm going to share with you a copy of Sony PlayStation business plan from May of this year, where Jim Ryan himself presented to stakeholders and interested parties. And what I'm going to do now is go over this business plan the way it was delivered to Sony executives and interested parties. Okay, so what you are looking at is a copy of the business plan for Sony Interactive Entertainment. This was the business plan that Jim Ryan shared with stakeholders and interested parties. And of course, someone was in the room. They were present and accounted for when this presentation went down. And that's how I got it. That's how I know what happened in the meeting. And that's how I have a copy of this slide deck. And basically, we just gonna go through it. Now, this thing is way too long. There are 37 pages. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to go through 37 pages right now. I may revisit this if y'all wanna see that. But for now, we're gonna cover the specific pages that deal with the current false narratives that we need to put to rest. So the first thing you need to know here, they lay out the plan, PlayStation, the road to profitable growth. Again, the key is PlayStation itself. They're going to build their biggest platform ever with the PS5, and they want to ensure a long tail for the PS4 and new growth factors. This right here. This is the area that we're going to focus on, because this is where you'll find many of the answers to these questions. Okay, so the first slide we want to cover is why we believe in PS5, and it talks about the growth in gaming market. Now, here's the thing that you may find surprising. So everybody just says, if you want to get your game in front of hundreds of millions of people, then you have to put your game on PC, because it's 100 million, 200 million. The number changes every time. 150 million PC gamers, 200 million PC gamers. This is the narrative that they run with, right? Actually, that's not true. So when you look at the breakdown by platform, and that's what this is, by platform, you see that the console market, this is all consoles, this is not just PlayStation. Both of these graphs are for the entire gaming market. This is not Sony specific. This $62, what this is saying is that $62 billion come from console gaming. PC gaming only accounts for 18% of the entire gaming spectrum. And then the biggest one by far is mobile. Mobile is $121 billion. So of the total $226 billion US dollars accounted for gaming revenue, over half of it comes from mobile. And the PC market is actually the smallest by a significant margin. PC is not the dominant platform when it comes to gaming. Again, they like to tell you this. They say it all the time. It is not true. This is another false narrative that can be easily shut down when you have the data. The console market is second. First is mobile, and dead last is PC. Now, they expect growth. This CAGR, that just basically means compound annual growth rate. And this is the amount at which they think these numbers to change over time. So clearly, though, right now, mobile is the largest, and they expect mobile to continue to grow. They also expect consoles to continue to grow. PC, even though it will grow, they're expecting PC gaming to stay right around where it is. It doesn't have the big growth like the other two. So again, this whole idea that you got to get your game on PC, you got to get your game on PC, this is how you open it up, it's just not true. This is a false narrative. PC gaming does not, I repeat, does not represent this large segment of gamers. So we can just stop with this. So again, when you hear all these goofy ideas that PlayStation is trying to get away from the console, that they view the console as a gate, and that they trying to get into the PC space because that's where they can reach hundreds of millions of gamers without the gate. It's not what he's saying at all. Okay, so now let's go down here to these new growth vectors. So Sony wants to reach 200 million gamers. Okay, what is their plan for this? Because people say reaching PC gamers is their plan to remove the console so that their games could reach more gamers. False. That is not their plan. We just demonstrated how the PC market isn't even a very lucrative market in the first place, and there is not much growth expected from the PC market over time. The console space is lucrative. The console space is already bigger, and the console space already dominates the PC. So what do they plan to do? How do they plan to grow? If it doesn't include removing the PS5 and going day and date on PC, then how do they plan to grow? And they explain it very clearly right here in the business plan. There is a 6-pronged attack on how they plan to gain new growth to reach hundreds of millions of gamers. And the very first way is right here. They're going to redouble their China focus for the PS5 era. So being very clear, they have launched in China. They have significantly expanded local marketing investment. You can read the slide for yourself. It is very self-evident. A big portion of their strategy includes getting the PS5 popular in China. This is where they plan to get hundreds of millions of gamers because they plan to tap into a new geographical region. It does not mean they're trying to take away the PS5 as a gate and go day and date on PC. No, that's not what they're saying. What they plan to do is keep the PS5 and get the PS5 in more regions. Their first plan of attack is to open up the PS5 and make it available in China. I do have some numbers for China, I honestly do, but I was asked to keep that out of the video that I'm making so that those numbers aren't publicly available. But I can say, yes, their launch in China is definitely off to a very good start. So this is the first plan, is to launch in China. It is not remove the console and go day and date on PC. They plan to get hundreds of millions of gamers by reaching gamers in China on the PS5. And nowhere in here does it mention going day and date on PC. As a matter of fact, the whole point of PlayStation is to keep the value of the PlayStation high. Now, they did buy Nixus, that is true, but that doesn't mean that they want games day and date on PC. They have a more strategic approach, and that's where the long tail strategy comes into play. Now, I will go into that in a different video. This video was getting kind of long. Are y'all asleep? Are y'all still with me? What's going on? Let me know that you still here by hitting the like button. All right, seriously, if you are still awake and you enjoy what you listen to, please go ahead and hit the like button. I would appreciate it. I wouldn't even mind if you went ahead and subscribed. I will have more content like this for you. I will not stop. There is plenty of content on the way to destroy these false narratives and to give gamers the actual truth about what's going on out here in these gaming streets. I appreciate y'all. I couldn't do any of this without y'all. I really appreciate the support. You know, a lot of content creators say this at the end of their videos or the beginning of their videos, but I really mean it. This is not just lip service with me. I don't have a fake bone in my body. I really appreciate that y'all take the time to listen to my content, because I know there are millions of other things that you could be doing, and you took your time to stop by and spend time with me for a few minutes, and I appreciate it. So thank you. All right, y'all have a good day, and make sure you find a creative way to keep it gaming.